Greetings from sunny South Florida. Today I'd like to talk about custom and semi-custom built catamarans because I often get calls about these and they all go something like this. They say, wow, I found this big late model cat. It seems like a lot of boat for the money and boy is it cheap. You know, let's go see that. Let's go evaluate that. And these boats are something that most people should stay away from because they are financially very risky. The market for them is not as wide as for a production boat. And let me explain more about that. So at one time I owned one of the largest sailing yacht dealerships in Florida, and we had 5 different lines of yachts, and I would have these wealthy buyers from Palm Beach come to us, and they would buy new yachts every 2 years. And so they were very experienced, and they would say something like, hey, I really like the new Beneteau 64 or 50 or whatever. But I would never buy hull number 1 through 10. And at the time, I didn't understand why. So I said, wait, why? You get a warranty. You know, we fix everything in the first year. And they said, oh no, I'm not going to be a guinea pig. No way. I'm not going to buy one of those first hulls. And I didn't figure out why for a while, but then I did. And well, what happens here is that, you know, when a manufacturer, like a big one like, you know, Beneteau, which owns 9 different brands including the Lagoon brand, or Leopard, design a new model, the naval architect draws it, they then give the plans to the engineers who spec it out. They say, okay, well, we need this horsepower of engine and this size mast and so on. And then they give all these specs to the shipwrights, who then build this boat. And, you know, Beneteau, for example, has been building since the 1880s. So you would think they would have everything down pat and they would be well organized and everything would work out great. But no, they don't. With every new model, they botch them. I remember we had a Beneteau 50 in stock and we sold it, and the buyer hired a surveyor. Now, most new yachts are not surveyed because insurance doesn't require it, but this surveyor who came found 53 defects, and it took us 4 months to fix all of these defects. And, you know, the manufacturer pays for most of that, but then the dealers have to pay for part of it too. So the thing that happened here is that this buyer was mad because, you know, when he bought the boat, he thought, well, you know, it's going to be brand new, perfect. I can sail it off into the sunset immediately. But no, it took 4 months to work all these bugs out. So just remember, when you're looking at new yachts, they all have bugs. In fact, the other day, I talked to a buyer of a name brand yacht in the mid 40-foot range, and they had it surveyed. There was 155 defects noted at survey, and so, you know, it's going to take them months to work all those bugs out. So, you know, new yachts are not perfect. And so the lesson I learned is that, you know, all manufacturers, I don't care who you are, they all botch the first few boats. And this is why they often offer big discounts if you'll take one of those hulls, because they just know this is just what happens. You know, they've never really been able to figure this one out. So, well, let's just offer a big discount, and then, you know, we can get them out there. And then the way it works is, you know, since 85 to 90% of catamarans go into charter, a lot of them go immediately into charter service. And even if they're not surveyed, the defects will be discovered right away, because the charterers are given comment cards, and they'll report all of these issues, and then the charter company can fix them. So there are defects inherent in all new boats. Now, when you have a large builder who is well capitalized, like Lagoon or Leopard, botch a boat, it's not a big deal for them, because they have many engineers, shipwrights, mechanics, whatever, who can jump right on that problem and fix it right away. And so they tackle the problems right away, and they solve the problems. But it costs them money. Now, they have very deep pockets. Now remember, like on a 45-foot catamaran, the tooling or the molds, and there may be 200 of them that go into a 45-foot cat, because they have all these molds for your shower stall and the galley area over here, and seating over there, and so on. And so it costs a lot of money to build those molds. In fact, it can cost $1 million. And so they have to amortize that cost among many hulls, okay? But they can afford it. They have deep pockets, and they, find out the problems right away, because they go into charter right away, and they fix them, because they have the money to do it. And if they make a mistake, like one of the mistakes we saw several times on some boats in the past is that the cockpits wouldn't drain the water from the seats when it rains. And now this is a big issue, because you have to change the whole deck mold, and that can be expensive. That could be $150,000. And so now, do you think these little semi-custom builders who are undercapitalized, who only build maybe 1 or 2 models of one type every year, do you think they're going to have the money to the $150,000 to redo the deck mold? Nope. So what are they going to do? They're going to cheap Charlie that repair. Okay, it's not going to get fixed correctly. And this is what happens to all these semi-custom boats. And I can't tell you how many we've seen that are 1 and 2 years old that come on the market, and of course, when you ask the seller, well, why you sell it? They say, yeah, health reasons. Yeah, right. No, it's because the build contracts protect the semi-custom and custom builders, and the buyers, they try and fix them, but they can't, so they cheap Charlie them. So, in the case of cockpit seats that don't drain and collect water, and so your cushions get moldy in 2 months, well, they just drill holes and let it drain into the bilge. This is how they solve that problem. But multiply this by 50 or 70 other issues like that, and so these boats are botched, okay? And often these owners just throw their hands up in disgust and say, forget it, I'm just going to sell it, get rid of it. And this is why you're seeing some of these semi-custom and custom boats coming onto the market in year 1 and 2 and 3, because they just get fed up and want to get rid of it. So the bottom line here is that you should not get a semi-custom or custom boat unless you own a boatyard, you can afford to fix these major things, and that you have a way to store that boat while you spend that 6 months or year fixing these problems. Because just docking these things in the areas where you have the technicians to fix that, it costs a lot of money, and that adds to your cost. So what I'm saying here is, the safest thing to do is buy a popular model with a popular layout, buy it at the right time and place, and then when you go sell it at the right time and place. And if you'd like to know more about that, just get in touch with me. Go to my website, largecatamaransforsale.com, and I love questions. Send me a question, get in touch with me. I'll be happy to educate you, and I can send you actual selling prices on all the different models and share that with you. So give me a call, give me a text, give me an email. Look forward to working with you. Smooth sailing.